So the question is, what's the purpose of martial arts? To me, the purpose of martial arts is to get home safe. You know, because that's what I want my children to do. That's what I want to do. That's what I always taught people how to do. Now, I didn't know how to articulate it back then like that. Get home safe, because it kind of sounds corny, but it's the truth. Right? What's more important than getting home safe? You got to walk the streets. You got to do your things and get home safe. That's it, right? Okay. So for what it was worth, the philosophy of martial arts should be safety. Get home safe. Get home safe for your loved ones, right? So that's a family thing. So when people first started learning the martial arts, it was, the guy next door knew how to fight better, and I knew how to cook, and this other person knew how to clean, and we just bought it, teach him how to, and said, I'll clean your house, and I'll cook for you, and then everybody's covered. Of course, you also had the military, which, that's what martial really is, so strategy, so on and so forth. When I say to someone, listen, you're supposed to know the terrain, get to the high ground. That's the way you're gonna know the terrain, and then go walk the fields, walking. Now do that before, that's the pre-fight. And every match, tonight they have UFC fights. Trust me, last night, those fighters got in that cage and were testing and checking to make sure that the terrain was something they were comfortable with. You can't assume that if you go to that beach, it's the same beach, because there's different types of sands. So knowing where you're at, ground-wise, is one thing. Knowing and feeling where you're at mentally is another thing. Roberto Duran, like I told you, was Mike Tyson's biggest inspiration, and he mimicked that. He respected Muhammad Ali the most, but Duran was the guy he catered to, because he was just mean and tough, and my man was, Duran beat this guy up, and the guy was in a coma, and Duran said, do you feel bad? He was in a coma. He said, no, next time something like that happens, I'd rather have him just be dead. Now that sounds crazy and mean, but that's what the art of war is. Somebody's gonna die, let the other person be the person, not me. Right? Let it be. In the art of war, you fight for peace, right? There's a book called War and Peace. And anyway, so we're going to some crazy times, guys, now. And the sad thing about it, and I won't touch on this anymore, but it's all about the success of the divide and conquer. So people are fighting against each other because of differences. They're not together because of the commonality of wanting our children, our loved ones, to get home safe. That's all we want. Don't start no static, don't start no won't be one. But what you really have, but what you really have going on right now is, to me, the saddest thing, because life is already short. So today, as I said before, you guys know, everyone knows that today's the present, meaning it's a gift. You want to take it as a gift, and you don't want to, waste it. However, getting specific to strategies, you want to be able to produce the results. So a lot of things that I share are not conventional. They're not theoretical either. I call it shit that worked. And it worked for me, and it works for you and others if you apply it. Some of the stuff is just freaking theory, and that theory sounds good, philosophy-wise, but when you test it, it doesn't produce the results. So that means that's shit that doesn't work. And then some of that shit that doesn't work may even look good. So you call it, shit that doesn't work that looks good. And that's the majority of the styles that I experienced as a frustrated teenager who wanted to become a champion. And the reason I use competition as what would be my platform was because otherwise I would have to be getting into street fights all the time just for the sake of seeing if this shit works. Now, mind you, I'm not delusional to believe that fighting under rules is real fighting, but what I was doing in my mind, what I did physically is one thing, what I was doing in my mind, I would have went to jail. Because I always thought about and still think about that everyone has a knife on them and my life is at risk. So that's why I get out of the line of fire, because footwork is, or I should say, the best black in the world is not being there. And that means also footwork. But sometimes it's angles and sometimes it's height, sometimes it's distance. And that's called understanding where you're at If where you're at is not good enough for you, you got to mind your business, then you have to add to your so-called repertoire. All right.